Hey guys, in this video we're going to be giving you the 10 reasons why you shouldn't live here in Arizona, and we're not going to fluff it up at all. We're not going to tell you why you can't wear flip-flops year round, so make sure you stick around to the end of the video.
All right, Chip, for everybody who's watching this is going to be geared towards some of the negatives about Arizona. Not to scare anybody away, but we want to share just the negatives so that you can be fully aware of what's going on and have the right expectation before people move here. So we've got other videos showing pros and positives, that type of thing. You can find that on our channels, but we want to share the negatives on this one, and we're not going to mess around. Let's get started. What are the things that you think about when it comes to one of the negatives that people need to know about when it comes to moving here?
I think I go right to lack of seasons. If depending on where you're coming from, you might be used to 4 seasons, having the orange and yellow leaves fall in the fall, and then having a winter where you're shoveling snow, and then a light, nice, cool summertime. Well, it's not really the case out here in Arizona. My opinion, you got the summer and then you have not the summer. That's really it.
No, that's pretty accurate. It was a huge thing on me when I moved down here. I grew up mostly in Colorado, so coming down here, there was no holiday anymore.
Yeah.
Like I didn't feel like there was any kind of holidays. Like you can celebrate it here. People decorate and they put lights up, and people try to make it as festive as possible. But it just feels different without that different climate. And so that's something that people need to know about. If you're used to that and you like that, some people might not care, but I know when I moved here, it was something that kind of wore on me a little bit.
Yeah, if it's something you weren't expecting, just be prepared for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Desert landscape or our lack of greenery. So a lot of the subdivisions out here in Arizona, especially your newer ones that are being built out in the East and the West Valley, it's a lot of gravel, a lot of cactus landscape. Now it is low maintenance, but if you're used to that foliage, that mature landscaping, it's not very common here in Phoenix Metro. There are some places you can see it, but what are you seeing out there, Greg?
Yeah, no, I would agree with that, and kind of add on top of that. Like I know for me, it was a big thing when I moved down here to be going from completely green area to complete desert. Even flying in and seeing when you're coming in from another state and you're seeing the desert landscape, it just doesn't look that pretty. And even driving down some of the streets here, it's not as pretty as what you would like to see. Now there are some beautiful areas, obviously, in here in Arizona, but from a perspective of having that lack of greenery, that was something that took me a while to get used to, and probably would take a few of you a while to get used to as well, just the change of scenery like that.
Yeah.
All right, the number 3 thing you need to know, Chip, and that is the summer is hot. Is that pretty much all they need to know?
It's hot.
Cool, let's move on. All right, number 4, let's talk about the cost of living and specifically housing prices going up and how that's affecting a lot of people, because that's definitely a huge challenge for a lot of people this year.
Yeah, I mean, just the basic principle of supply and demand right here in Phoenix Metro is driving our home prices up. Our inventory is a lot lower than it was this time last year.
Record low levels.
Record low levels. I think it's almost 15% lower than it was last year, ballpark. You have 200 great people like yourselves moving here every day, and then some of us locals that are selling and moving too on top of that. So it's created supply and demand. It's created natural demand with low supply, and that's driving the prices up.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons people are moving here, and that obviously is pushing the prices up, but people are looking to get out of other expensive areas. People are looking to, people are working remotely and now trying to get into different places because they're staying at home more often. So between people moving here, which people always move here, but also this pandemic that we've been going through the last year, that whole thing has caused just an enormous amount of pressure on pushing prices up. So obviously interest rates have helped it, but it's something that we're talking to so many people that maybe are thinking that they can come in here and still get a pretty good deal on a house, and it's not as easy as it used to be, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you're typically not going to be the only one submitting an offer on X property. Now there's some cases where for whatever reason that house doesn't have a lot of demand, but more often than not, you're not gonna be the only one going after house A. So one of the things that a lot of people might not be aware of and can definitely be looked at as a con here in Arizona are our critters. Scorpions are very common, depending on where in the valley you are. Coyotes run rampant in most parts of the valley, so if you have small pets, you gotta be cognizant of that. And then sometimes you can see rattlesnakes, cockroaches, roof rats. Like Greg and I live in different parts of the valley. We're not that far from each other, but my critters are gonna be different than his critters. So what have you seen over there in the Arcadia area?
Yeah, I mean, we're in the citrus grove, so I think roof rats tend to be a common thing over there. Maybe not as crazy as it was back in the day. I think people still have them. There's a lot of people that know how to address them properly, but with all of that, you're still gonna see them around. It's still gonna be something that you have to deal with. We see a few coyotes cruising around the streets over there. You got certain pockets that might have scorpions, but I haven't seen one thankfully in a while, but there are pockets of scorpions over there.
Well, you know what also is really common out here and is very treatable, but you're almost guaranteed to get it in home ownership or termites out here. But they're treatable, but that's definitely something that you got to be aware of.
Yeah, termites are super common, and they come up. You get a termite inspection on every single house that you go under contract on, so that's a good point to bring up because that's one of the most common things you'll find out here when it comes to critters. So do we have them? Yeah, and you need to be aware that certain locations are going to be definitely more prevalent than others.
Yes.
All right, number 6. This is kind of one that not everybody talks about a lot, but I think it's a pretty big one for a lot of people that are moving here, and that is pool maintenance. And I think everybody wants a pool. There's always the people that are like, hey, I'm moving here, I want a pool. Number one, if you want a pool and you're looking for a house, you just added a ton of demand, and you also had a lot more in pricing to your house when you're looking at it because so many people want it. But then you're adding the pool maintenance issues. And look, everybody wants a pool during the summer, but man, they can be a pain in the butt to take care of. Chip, I know you have a pool. What does it cost you to take care of your pool, and how much time does it take?
Yeah, so I take care of my own pool, but it definitely, you have your regular chemicals you have to purchase. And then also, like, especially in the summertime, keeping the chemical levels right can be a big challenge, because when it's hot and your chemicals aren't right, algae builds up real quick, and then you can completely destroy the water in your pool and have to drain and start over again. So I know of a couple great pool guys or pool companies out here where they'll charge you about $100 a month to maintenance it, and it'll include the chemicals, but you'll still have your big routine services on, like your pool pumps, which is going to be a higher dollar service. If I could put a price on it, I'd say it's probably about $1,500 to $2,000 a year you got to allocate to your pool maintenance.
Yeah, it's something that adds up pretty quickly that you don't even think about just because you're doing it every month. But between the electrical of running all your equipment and obviously the chemicals and again, like some of the minor fix-ups that you have to do, it can add up pretty quickly. One thing that you should know, and everybody should know this, but don't pee in the pool.
Don't pee in the pool.
That causes a lot of challenges, so don't pee in the pool.
It does.
Nobody likes that.
Okay, so number 7 on our list, you guys, is it's hot in the summertime. It just gets hot.
That's all we need to tell them.
Hot.
All right, number 8, and again, not one that people tend to mention a lot, but I think especially if you've been around like a while like we have, you start to notice this, is that all the communities, or a lot of the communities, I won't say all of them, but a lot of them look very similar.
Yes.
There's a lot of developments, all the newer developments, anything that especially developed between like 2000 and 2010. If you go Chandler, Queen Creek, Gilbert, probably into Peoria, Glendale, like all of the same developers did the same thing all over, and then all the housing looks similar. So you have a lot of cookie cutter stuff going on here in Arizona. There's some nice stuff, but it tends to be looking the same wherever you go. What do you think on that?
Yeah, like all like the Glendale neighborhood, like beautiful neighborhoods, beautiful homes, but like when they started to be built, I think those home builders had like 5 models you could choose from. And they're nice, but they all look very similar. A lot of, what's the facade I'm looking for? Like just a stucco facade. And yeah, a lot of them look the same. So you
similar lot sizes, yeah, similar front elevations of the house.
Yeah.
And look, there's plenty of beautiful communities, but you're really going to think like you're like, where did I just go? Because I feel like I was just over here, even though I drove 30 minutes to go somewhere else, and it looks exactly the same.
Exactly. It's like that desert landscape is like feeding into the houses that all kind of blends in a little bit.
And it's the community, and I think even more, it's the retail developments.
Yeah.
You'll see the same shops and shopping, like you'll have these same like retail shopping center, and they'll have the same stores over and over again. You're like, okay, well, this is not that unique. So some areas don't have it, but a lot of them do. Again, if you stay there all the time, maybe you won't notice, but from us, looking around all over the place, a lot of similarities.
Well, it's funny too, like having lived here my whole life, like I naturally gravitate towards the communities that are like diverse in the way the houses look.
Yeah.
The not cookie cutter ones, which if you think about it, Phoenix Metro, there's really a limited amount of neighborhoods that offer that diversity when it comes to the way the neighborhood looks. So
now, and I want to preface this too, like, is a really negative reason for you to not want to move to Arizona is because they all look alike? Probably not, but it's just from our perspective, it's just kind of something that's like you probably should know about.
Yeah, you should definitely know about it. So number 9 on the list is something that just happened and just passed in the 2020 election. Is marijuana is now recreationally legal here in Arizona starting about a week ago. So could be a lot of slow drivers out there. Pizza places are going to see an increase in business, so you might be waiting longer for your pizza.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're going to see a little bit of change for those of you who maybe gone to Colorado or Washington or now in California. Maybe you're used to this type of thing. There's gonna be some changes going on.
Yeah.
So definitely things that people want to know about. Some people obviously think it's a good idea, but there's gonna be a lot of people who think it is a con and are not gonna be happy with it because you're gonna potentially see people acting in ways that they shouldn't be acting in the public. But it's something that we wanted to share.
Yeah.
You might like it, you might not like it. We'll have it on the potential list of negatives for people who are looking to come here.
Yeah, just be aware of it.
All right, number 10 on our list, Chip, and this is something that nobody talks about whatsoever.
Nobody.
I mean, I don't think we even brought it up at all during this video, and I think people should know, and that is...
What's the weather like in the summer?
The summer is hot.
Oh, it's hot.
Well, let's go into a little bit more detail since we've skipped over it in the first couple. Talk to them a little bit about what they should be prepared for.
Yeah, so my opinion, once you get through May and you get into June, once June turns on, that's when we start to see the higher temps. And that can be upwards of 120 degrees in peak summertime. So that means it's hot, it could be destroying your car's dash. Hopefully you have a garage or shade to park in, tint on your windows, sunshade, and a pool in your backyard to stay cool. Be prepared for your electric bills to be much higher.
Yeah, it causes a lot of issues. Obviously, for us who've been around for a while, you learn how to deal with it, but it's a big adjustment if you haven't dealt with it before, and you definitely have to take care of not only yourself, make sure you got all the sunscreen on, make sure you're covered, you've got shade like Chip was saying, because it's brutal, and it has been even more brutal from last year.
Yeah.
It was devastating to a lot of the landscaping in the last year. So yeah, is there ways to deal with it? Yes, but it's not fun, and especially when we had record 110 plus of like 53 days last year were over 110, and that's a lot of time.
Well, and to that point too, Greg, last year we were really dry. So normally Phoenix gets about 30-35 days of rain each year. I think we had maybe like 12 days last year. So
I remember one day.
Yeah, it feels like barely even a day. So
33 days, there's no way that even is accurate, but
didn't happen last year because like once September rolls around, we usually get monsoon. So we get this moisture where it kind of cools off, but it was non-existent. So it's hot, you guys. It's just really hot.
Yeah, it's probably the biggest thing. I mean, it's the biggest challenge that I have living here.
Yeah.
Some people love it, but I have a challenge with it. I don't, you're probably used to it. I mean, again, you hear about it all the time. So, but it always is helpful to have like a really really good understanding of how it's going to affect you and what you should be prepared for. And so.
And if you haven't experienced it, I mean, it's hard to describe until you actually step off, the terminal.
It is a dry heat.
It is a dry heat. That is. I mean,
it's a joke, but
it's a good thing. I mean, if you're one of those people that suffers from allergies, like, it's dry out here. So there's a lot of people that come out here because it is dry.
Yeah, and the humidity sucks, don't get me wrong. Like, when it is humid in other places, like for other people who are coming from like Florida and they're like, hey, or anywhere on the East Coast, and they're like, hey, I'm coming from humidity, so the dry heat is a complete change of pace and is so much easier. Totally get that. It's true. But it's not that much better.
Yeah, because at a certain point when you're going on 4.5, 5 months straight of 110 degrees, 115 degrees, you're just like, the summers feel endless sometimes. They really do.
And those drag on, like, I'd say, obviously June, July, August, September, 100%, but I mean, even into October this year, we had over 100 degrees easily. I think the first half of October was still over 100 degrees. Yeah. And it didn't start cooling down until the end of October. It usually, like, Halloween is usually kind of a nice breaking point for us.
Yeah.
You get into November, December, but be prepared, like, and that could start as early as May. So you could have, 5-6 months potentially of warmer weather, and then the extremes in July and August for sure.
So Greg, I think that pretty much recaps it. I think we told everyone really the 10 reasons why they might not move to Arizona. I think the summary is it gets hot.
Did we tell them it gets hot in the summer?
Greg, does it get hot?
A little bit.
It gets a little hot. So anyways, you guys, if there's something we missed or something you didn't think we covered, or if you just have a question, don't hesitate to drop a comment or reach out to us however you feel comfortable. Just know we got your back when it comes to Arizona.
And give us a like.
Yeah, give us a like. Thanks, guys.